welcome back to the channel, my fellow soap obsessives. Today is a beautiful Wednesday, but let me tell you, things are getting incredibly dark and twisted on our favorite show. If you haven't seen the latest previews yet, grab a seat and brace yourselves, because we have a massive, heart-stopping situation to break down. Let's get right into it. I cannot believe they actually went there. I am literally shaking, sitting here typing this up at 2 a.m. because I just watched the latest preview and my jaw is permanently detached from my face. I mean, we all knew this was coming, right? We all saw the glaring, neon warning signs flashing for weeks, but seeing it actually happen on screen. Seeing Nick Newman, the golden boy, the absolute moral rock of the Newman family, just drop like a stone in the middle of the CEO office, I am losing my mind. React first, explain later. I know, but oh my god, the collapse. He was just standing there on his phone, and then came the grimace. That awful, agonizing, full-body grimace. You could see the exact moment his organs just gave up the fight. The phone slips from his hand, hits the floor with a thud, and then Nick goes down hard, and Sharon screams. What's wrong? Oh my god. Nick, that scream is going to haunt my nightmares for the next decade. Sharon Case deserves all the Emmys just for the raw, visceral terror in that one single line. But wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me back up, because we absolutely have to talk about how we even got to this horrifying moment in the Newman Enterprises CEO office. We have to talk about the lies, the absolute, bold-faced, disgusting lies that Nick has been feeding his family for days, because he looked them all in the eye and swore he had this under control. He told Victor, he told Nikki, he told Sharon that his outpatient rehab was working perfectly. He promised them he was going to his support group meetings and doing the work. He acted like he was conquering this demon, playing the strong, resilient, bulletproof Nick Newman we have all known and loved for years. But he wasn't. He was lying through his teeth to the people who love him most. He has been popping fentanyl like it is literal candy, like candy. He is treating one of the most lethal, destructive drugs on the planet like breath mints, and he actually thought he could just hide it from the most powerful family in Genoa City. And Victor finally snapped, and honestly, good for him. I am not always on the Victor Newman defense squad. We all know he has done some incredibly shady things, but after witnessing Nick's public relapse and his completely reckless, out of control behavior, Victor did exactly what a father in his position should do. He realized that diplomacy was completely dead. Asking Nestle was not going to work anymore. So he called an emergency intervention at the Newman Ranch. He summoned Nikki, Sharon, and Adam. Yes, Adam. Can we just pause for a second and appreciate the sheer, unbelievable irony of Adam Newman being summoned to an intervention to save Nick? I mean, Adam is usually the one everyone in town is trying to lock up or save from his own dark spider impulses. But here he is, standing shoulder to shoulder with the family, trying to pull his older brother back from the brink of death. Adam was the one who found Nick chained up in Vegas. Adam was the one who saw Matt Clark injecting Nick with this poison. So Adam knows exactly how high the stakes are, and seeing him step up as the rational one is just wild to me. So Victor goes full dictator mode at the ranch, which is obviously his specialty. He doesn't just suggest a nice, cozy rehab retreat in Malibu with yoga and smoothies. No, Victor forces Nick into a completely isolated, maximum security rehab center. He uses every single ounce of his billionaire power, his private security teams, and his endless resources to ensure that Nick cannot escape and, more importantly, cannot get his hands on any more drugs. Remember when Victor locked up his own family members in the past to force them to bend to his will? Remember when he locked Mariah up, or when he pulled those extreme stunts with Victoria? Yeah, didn't always work then either, but this time, it felt so desperately necessary. Victor was trying to save his son's life. He literally just named Nick his official successor at Newman Enterprises to consolidate power and show a united front against Matt Clark. He cannot have his successor dying in the gutter, and my heart just absolutely bleeds for Nikki in all of this. I know some people are loving this dark, gritty storyline for Nick because it gives Josh Uomaro something incredibly meaty and dramatic to play, but personally, I am devastated for Nikki. She has battled severe alcoholism for decades. She knows the ugly, shameful, terrifying truth of addiction. She knows exactly what it feels like to look your loved ones in the eye and lie about being sober while you are secretly dying inside. Seeing her son, her strong, dependable Nick falling down that exact same dark, deceitful hole, it is shattering her. Nikki's heartbreak is so palpable during that intervention, and it just adds this massive, suffocating layer of tragedy to the whole scene. But clearly, Victor's foolproof, maximum security plan had a massive, glaring hole in it. Because Nick still managed to get high, he still managed to lie his way out of the safety net. Okay, back to the point. The CEO office, the preview that has me pacing my room in the middle of the night. Let's really set the scene here, because the dynamics in that room are absolutely insane. You have Victor, who just tried to orchestrate this massive, inescapable rehab plan, watching it fail in real time. You have Sharon, who has been Nick's soulmate, his savior, his eternal tether to sanity, watching the man she loves crumble into a heap. You have Noah, poor, traumatized Noah, who has already been through absolute hell and back with the Vegas gas station explosion and Matt Clark punching him in the park. Now having to watch his father overdose. And then you have Sienna Bacall. Am I the only one who thinks it is wildly uncomfortable that Sienna is in the CEO office during this family crisis? I mean, I know she is technically the one who saved Nick's life with narking back at that creepy abandoned gas station in Nevada. I know she thinks she is part of the inner circle now because she trauma bonded with Noah, but her being there with her clingy, paranoid, jealous energy while Nick is literally collapsing. It just makes my skin crawl. Sharon doesn't trust her, and frankly, I am with Sharon 100%. Sienna's presence just adds this bizarre, suffocating tension to an already terrifying moment. What is she even doing in the CEO office of Newman Enterprises? But we have to talk about the collapse itself. Who was Nick on the phone with? Was it a dealer? Was it Matt Clark taunting him from the shadows? Because Matt is a total psychopath who engineered this entire addiction just to watch Nick destroy his own life. Matt literally said he wanted to feed Nick's addiction until he didn't even know his own name. Is Matt somehow still pulling the strings, slipping fentanyl past Victor's billion-dollar security team? Because if there is one thing I have learned since I started watching this show in 2015, it is that you never, ever underestimate a Genoa City villain who has a vendetta. Nick Remace, it wasn't just a dizzy spell. It looked like his heart was physically stopping in his chest. The way the phone just slipped out of his fingers, it was so final. It was the terrifying culmination of weeks of lies, of hiding pills in his pockets, of pretending he was going to support groups when he was actually chasing the next high in secret. I am so angry with him. I am sorry, but I am. How could he do this to Noah? How could he do this to Sharon? He knows that Matt Clark is out there, regaining his memories, forming unholy alliances with crazy Patty Williams, and hunting down Michael Baldwin. The entire Newman family is under siege right now, and Nick decides that this is the time to pop fentanyl like candy. Wait, I know that sounds harsh. I know addiction is a disease, and Matt Clark forced this on him initially in that Vegas storage room. I know Nick is a victim of a horrific crime here. Sometimes I contradict myself because I am just so emotional about this. I love Nick. I want him to be the hero. I want him to be the guy who rides in on a white horse and saves the day, not the guy who is foaming at the mouth on the floor of his father's office. But the writers are really going there. They are taking Nick to the absolute rock bottom, and they are dragging the entire Newman family down with him. And as much as I hate seeing him suffer, I have to admit that this is some of the most compelling, edge-of-your-seat television Y&R has given us in years. The stakes have literally never been higher. If Nick dies, which, come on, he won't. He's a legacy character and a Newman, but if he suffers permanent brain damage, what does that do to Victor? Victor will unleash a level of hellfire on Matt Clark that will make the Vegas explosion look like a cozy little campfire. Victor will not rest until Matt is completely erased from existence. He will burn Genoa City to the ground to avenge his son. And what about Sharon? She just walked into that CEO office probably hoping to have a serious, supportive talk with him about his recovery, and instead she gets a front row seat to his potential death. Oh my god, Nick. That line is going to be echoing in my head all weekend. You can feel her heart breaking into a million pieces in that one split second. I am dreading the next episode, but I am also counting down the seconds until it airs. We are going to see the immediate aftermath of this drop. Is Sienna going to have to whip out the narcan again? Is Victor going to have a heart attack from the sheer stress of watching his son die? Is Adam going to use this as an excuse to go full spider and murder Matt Clark with his bare hands in the middle of the street? I know some fans are saying this storyline is too dark and depressing, but honestly, this is the exact kind of soap opera drama I live for. It is messy, it is tragic, it is deeply rooted in decades of family history, and it is pushing every single character to their absolute breaking point. Nick thought he was smarter than the drugs. He thought he was stronger than Matt Clark's trap. He thought he could outmaneuver Victor Newman's intervention and lie his way to survival. But fentanyl always wins, and now Nick is on the floor, the phone is shattered, and the entire Newman empire is holding its breath. I just need him to pull through. Please, YNR writers, do not drag this out for 3 weeks in hospital waiting rooms. Give us the gritty recovery, give us the explosive family fallout, give us Nikki confronting him about the lies with tears streaming down her face. I am here for all of it, every single agonizing minute. I am going to be a nervous wreck until we see what happens next. The suspense is actually killing me. I mean, how are we supposed to just go about our normal lives knowing Nick Newman is currently face down on the carpet of Newman Enterprises? It's impossible.